5 Wednesday. Top 5 Wednesday is a Goodreads group that was created by Ginger Reads Laney, which is now run by Sam from Thoughts on Tomes. There will be a link to the Goodreads group in the description, but this week's topic is books you will never read, and I have 5 books that I'm not going to read. So we'll start with the one that I own a physical copy of, but I'm not going to read it. I have it, I'm not going to read it. So, first one is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I have started this book. I read about 80 pages, but I just couldn't do it. I really hated this book. It's like, not even like I really, really disliked it. I didn't like how they got their superpowers, and if you've read this book, you know what I'm talking about. I didn't find that. I found it very uncomfortable. I couldn't deal with it. It was just a no from me. No, no, no. Another book I have a physical copy of that I'm not going to read, and that is The Kill Order by James Dashner. This is the prequel to the Maze Runner trilogy, and back when I liked the Maze Runner trilogy, you know, this was like top of my priority list, but now I'm kind of over that trilogy, so I'm never going to read the prequel or the Fever Code that's coming out at some point. That's another prequel. I'm not going to read them. No, I'm not putting myself through that. Soz. And next up, we have 2 books that I'm not going to read the sequels of, and this one is going to be a bit weird, but I'm not going to read the rest of a series of unfortunate events. I'm not sure which ones I have read at this point. I know I have 8 of the books, and I have read the 8 that I have, but I don't have them in order. I don't actually have the first 8. I've read the Penultimate Peril, which is the penultimate book, surprisingly. I've read that, but I'm not sure I've read some of the ones in the middle, which is a bit orcs. But I know for definite I'm not going to read the end. I'm not going to read the last book. I don't really care about this series anymore. Like, when it first came out, it was quite big and I've got it then, but I've never been tempted to go back to it. I've never been that interested in going back to it, so sorry to all the fans of this series, but I'm just not one of them. And the next book is another sequel, and this will come as no surprise if you were around last year, but I'm not going to be reading The Last Star, the sequel to The Infinite Sea, the final book in the 5th Wave trilogy. The problem is, I hated the 5th Wave. I didn't like the story. I thought it was very boring. I actually thought The Infinite Sea was better because it was quicker, it was shorter, there was so much less rubbish going on, and The Last Star is out, but I cannot bring myself to read it. I'm not, usually alien books are pretty miss with me. Like, I could have included the Lorien Legacies on this series. I've read the first 3, I'm not going to read any more. But I'm including this one because it was a very frustrating series. So I'm not picking up the last one. Sorry. And the last books I'm going to mention are not ones that I actually own, nor do I ever plan on owning, and that is anything written by John Green. I've read Looking for Alaska. I would say that much so, you know, I have read a John Green book. I've read Looking for Alaska, and I hated it. Hated it. Oh, it's just so frustrating. And I feel like now I might enjoy it more because I'm better with contemporaries now. But no, it was so annoying. It was such an annoying book. Oh, it gave me such a headache. I just hated it. I cannot bring myself to ever pick up anything else by him. I'm not reading The Vernal Stars. I'm not reading Abundance of Catherines or Paper Towns or whatever else he writes. It's not going to happen. I'm not putting myself through that. I cannot stand it. Sorry to all the John Green fans. I know loads of people love him and love his books. I mean, I don't mind him as a person. I just don't like his books, so soz. That is my Top 5 Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will have another one up soon. So, goodbye.